At one point when it was originally announced to be coming to Netflix, Marvel's Iron Fist was the second most anticipated project from all of Marvel TV. And by the time it was all said and done, Marvel's Iron Fist is one of the worst received Marvel products ever. Now the star of the project, Finn Jones, aka Iron Fist himself, talks a little bit more about the experience, the struggles, and the problems. So this comes at us directly from Finn Jones himself, who got to talk a little bit about Iron Fist to Geekscape. And he specifically talked about all the problems that were going on with the likes of Iron Fist development, the schedule, and everything there. And essentially what he says is the first season, there was a lot of creative challenges, and that's one of the reasons that it didn't live up to expectations. First and foremost, scheduling conflicts were all over the place from the very start. And he's not the first one to reveal this. We know this as a fact due to multiple producers and people associated with the series stating the same thing. And he says that one thing that also hindered it was the fact that the Defenders had to film right afterwards. Iron Fist was the first series where everybody working on it did not get a break. They did not get to reconfigure. Essentially, they went from one to the other, non-stop, no break. They had to do the 13 episodes and then straight into shooting Defenders without really having much time to do anything at all, including choreography and getting people ready for what their task was going to be. And they saw Defenders as more important, so essentially a lot of cutbacks were made to Iron Fist, which again, we know for a fact because that's why Scott Buck was brought on board, and he's the man that does it on the cheap. The reason they got him for Inhumans was this exact reason. They were running up against the deadline in the schedule and said, rush it out the door, and they did. So Iron Fist Season 1 and Inhumans both suffered the same fate right there. And again, it's hard for these actors who are, restricted and have limited time to do anything, especially when production on Iron Fist was already, according to all reports we saw originally, falling behind by 2 months. And they only had what was left over was less than 2 months to shoot what should have taken 5. So again, deadlines, and that's really that. And he reveals that he believes that the show got a whole lot better during season 2 because they were allowed a little bit more time, but unfortunately they could not fix all the mistakes because production of season 2 had to be rushed to meet the deadline. So one after the other, things just kind of ended up falling apart, and he believes that that's ultimately what led to the series being what it was, having its shortcomings and falling apart. And I'll agree with all of it. You guys know Iron Fist run. The Immortal Iron Fist is my favorite Marvel comic, so it's unfortunate that we never got there, but maybe there's some hope down the road. Maybe there's a little glimmer of hope that Iron Fist can be brought back, reintroduced, new concepts, reboot, whatever they will, and just go ahead with it and do it right this time and give it the proper amount of time. And also a necessary budget, because the budget on the Netflix shows was allegedly shoestring at best.